And welcome one, welcome all. Dustin Harris hanging out with you. As you can see, we're on the Coach Cam. I'll introduce my guest here in just a little bit. But I also want to remind you that we are sponsored, first of all, by OREP Insurance. OREP is the E&O insurance that I currently use, have for several years, and there's a reason. Go to orep.org, that's orep.org, to find out more information. Datamaster. Datamaster has been a sponsor here from the very beginning, and we do appreciate them. They save me 30 to 60 minutes per appraisal report. They will for you as well. Their address is datamasterfreetrial.com/coach. Once again, it's datamasterfreetrial.com/coach. And finally, the software that I use to develop my appraisal software is Alamode. You should be as well. Check them out at alamode.com, or you can call them at 1-800-ALAMODE. Well, folks, I wanted to have a show today because we've got another great conference being put on by the Altera Group coming up in October. It is the Valuation Expo. I get lots of questions from my listeners, as far as the conferences, the classes, the webinars, and all of these great things that we can do for our CE. And people always ask about the Valuation Expo. It's one of the great conferences that I've been going to for years. And I have on the other end of the line a guest today, Mr. Jim Morrison. He is the Director of Business Development for the Altera Group. Jim, welcome back to the program.
Thank you very much, Dustin. I'm glad to be back. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has been a while. It's good to connect with you again. I mentioned here that I've been going to this conference for several years now. I would guess it's in excess now of 7, maybe 8 years now that I've been attending. It's always a great conference. There's a lot of reasons why people would want to go to this conference. But let's just start with maybe your top 1 or 2 or 3 reasons why an appraiser might consider going to the Valuation Expo.
The Valuation Expo is really so great because of the networking that happens there. It's a great place to get new business, meet other appraisers in the industry, find out what's going on. Plus, we have the continuing education with speakers that you really can't find anywhere else.
Right, exactly. It's one of those conferences that are highly attended. I attend conferences across the United States, a lot of regional conferences, statewide conferences. There's only just a couple of what we would refer to as nationwide conferences, but this is one that's very focused on both residential and commercial, but mostly residential appraisers. Wouldn't you agree with that, Jim?
Yeah, we have openings for both. Most of the continuing education focuses on the residential.
Okay, good. So let's talk, first of all, let's just start with continuing education. Talk to me a little bit about that. As an appraiser, I need to get, 15 hours a year. What can I expect if I come to the Valuation Expo hoping to get some CE?
Well, we have a lot of great opportunities. Our CE is set up in panels, so we have industry experts that are talking on different topics, and it helps to create more of a discussion than just being taught at. It includes all the attendees. It really makes them be part of the discussion and be part of the learning.
Well, Jim, sounds like there's quite a bit to do there. I know that as an attendee in the past, these are not just your typical speaker. These are high-end individuals, regulators, people who understand what's going on in the marketplace. That's one of the things I love about Valuation Expo is I really get a sense of where this industry is going.
Yeah, we are very lucky to have the leaders in the industry that they're always so kind to donate their time and be there with us. That's one thing that we really love is the ability to get those high-end thinkers of the industry.
One of the questions I get, Jim, on a regular basis from my listeners is, what can I expect when I show up to one of these? I think it can be a little bit intimidating. I mean, you've got a couple of hundred appraisers that are attending these. There's vendors, there's speakers, there's high-end individuals. It can be a little bit of an intimidating situation, especially for an introvert like myself, to walk into one of these rooms. Tell me what I can expect as I walk through the front door. Put my mind at ease a little bit.
Sure. Well, we always try and reach out to the new people. We find that the new people love us so much that they become returning guests. So the way we kick off the whole conference is we have our opening reception. It's free appetizers. We have a bar. You can really just come in and hang out the night before. The vendors are all on the floor, meet some of them. And then that'll be on October 2nd. And then the next 2 days are the actual CE where we come in and have the general session. So hopefully at that point you'll have met some people the night before.
Yeah, I love that about the Valuation Expo is typically the night before the conference really gets into to the swing of things. In other words, when the CE starts, we have an opportunity to socialize, get to know each other. Very low key. I mean, how can it not be with a beer in your hand, right?
Exactly.
So talk to me, let's say that someone has attended one of these in the past. Why should they come back? What do we got new this year?
We've got a lot of new stuff going on this year for Las Vegas. The first thing, the thing that we're pretty excited about is our Valuation Expo app. Is created entirely in-house by Altera Group. That'll be released July 1st. And it's got some really great tools for networking for the appraiser and the vendors.
Okay, so I got to see this. So you're telling me as a participant, I show up to the conference, and right there on my smartphone, I've got my own app that is very particular to that particular conference, right?
Absolutely. I can actually share a little bit of it with you.
Okay.
So you're getting to see a preview. It's not technically going to be released right now, but by the time everyone watches this video, it'll be available.
Well, this is super cool. So those of you who are listening in your car, you might want to go to YouTube to check this out, because on the Coach Cam, we're actually seeing the app. So go ahead and describe what you're doing here and what attendees can expect from this app, Jim.
So we really designed this app for our conference by our team here. So it's really specific on things that appraisers want to know and need to know about the show. Anybody can download it. If you aren't sure if you want to come to the show yet and want to download the app, you can download the app, check out the speakers, check out the sponsors. We've gotten some really cool stuff going this year. So some of the things that the appraisers can do is they can check the schedule. You can see what's going on, when it's going on, what room you need to be in. It has a breakdown of the descriptions of who's talking and what they're talking about. We have bios for all of our speakers, so you can see some of the great speakers that we have at the event. So that's all available in the app as well.
Very cool. I just want to just go back to that, if you don't mind. For those of you who are not watching and are just listening, some great speakers lined up, which I know we'll talk about in just a little bit. But right at the very top, we've got a keynote from Zachary Dawson. Folks, if you don't know who Zachary Dawson is, and Scott Ritter, you need to find out, because these guys, they know what's going on in the lending side of appraisals. And I tell you what, and I mean this with all sincerity, if you just come to the conference to hear those two keynote speeches, you've come for good reason.
Yeah, so that's all available for them there. We have our sponsors and exhibitors. You can click on the sponsors and exhibitors, see a breakdown of who all is going to be exhibiting at the show, who all is going to be on site. When you click each one, you can see a little bit about them. If they've submitted a video to us, we can play the video. Let's see if it goes through, and it just connects to their video right there.
Yeah, nice. So for those of you who are listening, he just pulled up DataMaster and clicked on the video, and now we're watching the video from DataMaster. That is super cool, Jim. Nice app.
Yeah, we're really excited about it. There's a lot in there. One of the things that's going to be most beneficial, I think, for the appraisers is the QR code. It's going to change how we do our CE. We used to have the sign-in sheets. You had to make sure to sign in. We're going to be able to scan everybody in a matter of seconds. With our CE, you'll have a QR code, and we'll scan it in. You'll also be able to scan in people you're talking to at the show. If you meet somebody that you like, you can scan their badge, their QR code, and you'll be able to add them to your contacts.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, you've done a great job designing this. It makes things very, very easy as you're at the conference. The problem, Jim, here is, and I'm setting you up to this, but man, it would sure be nice if we had some Wi-Fi.
Yeah, actually, we are going to have Wi-Fi. So for this year, we're going to have Wi-Fi for everyone. It's going to be included, so you can download the app ahead of time or download the app on site. That's something that a lot of conferences don't have, and we haven't had in the past. But as connected as everyone is to all their phone and iPad and everything, it's something that we feel is required.
Very cool. Very cool.
With that, though, we have some great interactive polling that's going to improve our audience participation. You'll really be able to feel like a part of the presentation. We'll be asking questions. You'll be able to put your input right there as we're going through the CE.
So the old-fashioned, hey, how many of you are using iPads and wait for a hand raise? That's out the door. Everybody's going to have to now put that into their phone, and we can take a poll right there in the audience, right?
Right, exactly.
That is super
And that is the other good thing I forgot to mention is this is available not only for iOS, it's available for Droid. You'll be able to use it with any device, the app.
Nice. Well, Jim, I want to take a break here just a little bit and talk about our sponsors. But when we come back, I want to talk about more about the upcoming conference. We're going to get in, of course, to where it is, what the dates are. We're going to be talking about rooms as well and how to register, as well as some other things that are upcoming concerning the continuing education and what appraisers can expect when they get there. I want to pause here first. Speaking of technology, talk to you about Alamode. Alamode is the software that I've been using for over 20 years. There's a reason I've been using it for over 20 years. And no, I really have not ever been tempted to switch. I've been curious, and I've tried some of the other software out there, but I'm very happy with what Alamode can do for me. It's allowed me to be more efficient at what I do as an appraiser. Really, folks, that's what it's all about as a business owner, is making sure that my time is used effectively. Alamode cares about appraisers, and they design their software in such a manner. You can check them out by going to alamode.com. That's ALAMOND.com, or you can call them at 800-ALAMODE. Speaking of great technology, I've been using DataMaster for a couple of years. Now, folks, I do not hesitate. You've heard me say it before. I will say it again and again and again. I don't hesitate to tell you that at the very least, DataMaster saves me 30 minutes per report, as much as 60 minutes per report on a regular basis. So let's just round it off and call it an even 45. Saving 45 minutes per appraisal report. Folks, what does that mean to you in dollars and cents? Well, if you don't know, you need to find out how much you're worth per hour. But trust me, folks, that's a big, big investment and a big, big benefit to your business. If you have not checked them out already, go to datamasterfreetrial.com/coach. And with that, you can try them for 14 days. Again, it's datamasterfreetrial.com/coach. And finally, we are sponsored by OREP Insurance. Folks, I just renewed my E&O insurance here just a couple of weeks ago and was very, very happy at how easy it was to go through the process with OREP. Folks, these people care about me. And they also allow me to talk to them directly via email, pick up the phone, call, and talk to a direct person. It was a very simple process, and I was able, because they're a broker, to get the least expensive yet best coverage that I could find. OREP will do the same thing for you. You can go to orep.org. That's OREP.org for more information. And welcome back, folks. We are joined by Mr. Jim Morrison, who is the Director of Business Development at the Altera Group. Welcome back, Jim.
Thank you very much.
So good to have you on. We're talking, of course, about the upcoming Valuation Expo in Las Vegas, Nevada. Give us the dates, Jim. I know everybody's kind of excited to come. They want to make sure it fits in their calendar.
The Valuation Expo will be October 2nd through October 4th. So on October 2nd, we have our opening reception, and then October 3rd and 4th will be the days of the continuing education.
Excellent. And Vegas is a big place. The Strip is maybe not so big, but they still need to know where to come. So what hotel, and give us a little information on that side.
We're going to be at the Flamingo Hotel and Casino. It's right there in the heart of the Strip. It's in the middle of everything. It's easy to get to everywhere you need in Las Vegas.
Excellent. I want to go back to something we were talking about before the break, and really what makes this conference unique, what makes this conference different. Talk to us a little bit about, I know you guys do a Valuation Expo Most Valuable Appraiser Award. What is that, and why would someone be interested in that?
So that's actually something new that we've done this year, that it's not something we've offered before. In the past, we've had the Valuation Visionary. That's right. Yep. For the leaders of the Collateral Risk Network, people that are putting themselves out there to change the industry. Well, the members of the Collateral Risk Network thought that it would be a great idea to recognize the appraisers who are out there completing appraisals every day and what they do in the industry, and really recognize the good ones.
Excellent. So does that mean any appraiser is in the running for that, or how does that work?
So the way it worked is we took nominations from the members of the CRN, and so those are lenders, appraisal management companies. Members of the CRN were able to nominate one appraiser per company, and then we took the top 4 out of all those nominations. And those 4 were Kevin Grant from Brookfield, Wisconsin, Rick Hitton from Chicago, Illinois.
I know Rick.
Robert Schiff from Freehold, New Jersey. And Ryan Campbell from Gilbert, Arizona.
Very cool. And so why, of those 4, why would they want to be the winner? What's in it for them other than being super cool?
Yeah. So what we're given for the winner is they receive a flight round trip to the show and back, a 2-night stay, entrance into the conference, and then during the conference they'll be presented with the award during an award ceremony during the continuing education.
Very cool. Well, Jim, we've talked about the continuing education. We've talked about the speakers a little bit. Anything you want to point out that we did not cover as far as the speakers go? And then I want to move on a little bit to the trade floor and what people can expect there.
Just that, as we talked about, we really wanted to create the connectivity, create the Q&A, create more of the interactive experience with the continuing education. I feel like that's something that we've done with the Wi-Fi, with the polling, with the question and answer. So we're really excited about it, getting to talk to these industry players and being able to ask questions directly of them. It's great for the appraiser.
Perfect. And I know we talked about the keynote speakers, but folks, trust me when I say that the Valuation Expo is full of speakers who know what they're talking about, who are the movers and shakers of our industry and really know where we are going as appraisers. A lot of times my listeners ask me, where do you think this industry is going? The answer I should be giving is, I don't know, show up to the Valuation Expo and you'll spend 2 days figuring it out, because that's really where we get a sneak peek as to where things are going. You talked a little bit about the conference itself, and I just want to, for those of you who have not been there, kind of explain as you walk into the conference center, of course there's a registration desk and where you get all kinds of goodies and you get your name tag and everything else. But as you walk into the conference itself, the first room that you'll find is typically the vendor room. And then you move from there into the hall, or the halls, as the case may be, as to where the continuing education and the speakers are going to be. Let's talk about that first room here, Jim. Somebody who's new to this, somebody who has not attended in the past, what will they expect in that first room?
So our trade show is the largest one in the nation. We have over 30 exhibitors. We have exhibitors that range from software, appraisal management companies, lenders. It really is everybody who has aspect of the appraisal industry. We have insurance companies. Everyone's there for our attendees. We actually do a great way to go out and talk to all these vendors is we have our Appraisal B prize. You get a card when you show up. It comes in your attendee bag. If you get a stamp from all the vendors that are participating, you get entered into the drawing for the prizes. We give away some great prizes: big screen TVs, iPads, Fitbits. There's a ton of great prizes. Distos, pretty much anything you could want.
Yeah, honestly, and those who have not been to this I think that needs emphasis, because I think people think, prizes, what, I'm going to give me a Tootsie Roll on the way out. No, folks, these are major prizes. I mean, we're talking sometimes excess of $1,000. I mean,
yes, there are some great prizes that our vendors are so generous to donate.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we go here, Jim, I just want to mention that speaking of that vendor floor, I will have a booth again in Vegas. Have an opportunity to interview and to actually broadcast from the floor itself. I was going to use the word live. It's obviously not live, but it's live when we record it. Have an opportunity to sit down with appraisers and vendors and others that are involved in the conference. It's always been a fun time to be able to have people stop by my booth. To talk to me on the air. If you're a fan, of course, of the Appraiser Coach podcast, would love to see you out at the conference. And not inconsequently, we have another coupon code, right, Jim?
Yes, we do. We're keeping it simple. It's Coach, just like last year. It's 20% off any type of pass if you want to come for the full CE. You want to come just for the trade show. We really do think that it's great to get out there and see all the vendors. I really appreciate you doing your show at the show. It really lets people get a peek into what goes on at our show.
Absolutely. No, it's a lot of fun. So folks, if you want to sign up and you want a whole, you kind of just said that like it wasn't a big deal, but we're talking 20%, right? I mean, this is kind of a big deal.
Yeah, it's a great deal, and it's only for your podcast listeners. So,
awesome. So if you folks, if you'll go to valuationexpo.com and go ahead and go through the sign up process, and when you see the coupon code box, make sure you put Coach in there and get a full 20% off of whatever pass that you are purchasing. Jim, what did we miss?
I think we pretty much covered it. I just hope we see everybody there October 2nd through 4th in Las Vegas.
I hope you do as well, and I hope to see each of you as well. It's one of the places that I get to interact, in close proximity to my listeners. So please, folks, consider, if you have not already, consider coming out to Las Vegas October 2nd through the 4th, getting your CE in for the year, and having a great time networking with other appraisers and vendors, picking up new business. I promise it will be worth it. Jim Morrison, Director of Business Development at the Altera Group, thanks again for joining us today.
Thank you.
All right, folks, that's it. And we will catch you next time here on the Appraiser Coach Podcast.